Hi, this is Haya Flipped Learning EFL classes. Last week we shared a sample of critical thinking activities in our online classes. And we saw an example of students moderating an online discussion, while the teacher's role is always limited to guiding and motivating the students in the chat. Let's call it online monitoring. And the online classes must be student-centered. This week, we're going to try to shed light on what we call from critical thinking to creative thinking. So let's explore it.
Elfman has something else to say. He's been chatting a lot in the conversation room, so I believe he has a lot to say. Go on, Nofan.
What about historical events? We try to create simulations of historical events. We know that a lot of students are getting bored in history classes in high school. A lot of people don't like to read. So even if we have cultural libraries, students don't want to read books about history. It's boring. Then after, I think if we try to create simulations, I mean like 5D films or using virtual reality, we can create virtual historical events. So like the students, youth can know like how the events happened in a virtual reality, which means it will be more real. Another point that I want to discuss is a lot of people are telling me that visiting monuments is better than just seeing it like seeing it virtually. I think I do agree with you guys, but I was thinking about avoiding to damage the buildings, avoiding to damage the monuments. So we try to push people to visit the monument, to visit the museums virtually, just to avoid this problem of damaging the buildings or like the security in general. Thank you.
I already see some hands up who they want to discuss this idea. So Rimanos, would you mind leading the discussion for a few minutes? Do you agree or disagree with Nofel? So the discussion is going to be for 7 minutes. Go ahead, Binti.
Of course, the idea is brilliant, and we cannot deny this. But what is interesting more, as our friend Hussein said, how can we do it? And we're sure that Morocco, we don't have the ability to this technology and to have this the ways to offer it for the people and for students. We don't have the way to. We're unable to do it. So how can we do it? And we don't have the ability.
Okay, thank you. Now we move on to Ayman Laghazi.
I want to thank Nupur for this brilliant idea, but I believe there are some problems with it. Firstly, as everyone mentioned, it's expensive. Schools can barely afford books for the students while they can afford high technology and virtual classes. And a second problem I see is it would kill tourism. Some countries rely on tourism, like Egypt. They mostly rely on tourism. So if we can see just photos to prevent from damaging the monuments, this would kill tourism.
Even though we have like just only a part of it, at least we have the vast majority, which like shows that people are really caring about their culture, and there is a chance and there is hope that we could actually save it and safeguard it. That's what I liked about it, and that's it.
You can't say that.
Plus, it's not only about Moroccans.
You saw an example of people actually destroying those monuments. I think the easier way to do it for them is to just edit that video, edit the picture they're sending. For maybe relations or protocol, it's all the same.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, after listening to Nofel and watching a video from TED Talk, that we have considered as a support, and then we spent some time in the breakout rooms where we discussed some of your opinions, and you try to analyze and evaluate the different perspectives. Now it's the time to write. So the questions we're going to try to discuss are the following. Do you really believe that the virtual museums are feasible? Do you really think that they are reliable? Also, what are the different challenges and setbacks that the experts can face? Ladies and gentlemen, to complete your work, you have 7 minutes.
Ryan, you can go. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. Basically, I think that virtual museums, yes, they're a very good way of preserving our cultural legacy and all that, yeah. But still, there are problems when you're visiting a virtual museum. It's obviously not the same as visiting a real museum. Why? Because it lacks that historical feel that a normal museum would give you. If you're spending the money and doing the effort to go and discover something that our ancestors have left behind for us, that will bring back a lot of our cultural spirituality, if you could say. And also it will also make you think about how much our ancestors fought to keep this monument alive and kept it for us so that we can pass it on to the next generation, and so on and so on. So I believe that a normal museum is way better than a virtual museum.
Yes, Ayman, go.
I want to say that if you want, like Nufal said, you want to prevent the monuments. I know it's not as good as seeing it in real life. I mean, but to help prevent this monuments and keep it safe, it's way better to see it online, and it would save money, as you said. The problem here is not about seeing it in real life or online. The problem is about tourism. When you're curious about seeing a monument, you want to go there, so you're gonna spend money. The country is gonna.
So let's not only speak about the cultural legacy, let's also speak about those people who are making those museums, because a museum, it's not something that the country made, it's something that someone has made. That's as far as I think. So how will they profit from it? How will the as you said in your paragraph, how will the workers profit from it? How are they going to be paid?
For in the beginning, it can be like this, a small scale project, and then if it's a great success, you can spread it in foreign countries. As Miss Samaha said, you do virtual tourism.
Thank you very much, Lina. Mary Samaha, the floor is yours.
Yes, so I think that it's not, I don't agree absolutely with the virtual museums, because I don't think that people will pay money in order to see something that is not real. Because what we mean with museums, we mean by them stories, what happened in the recent years. We don't need that imitation, even if we are preserving it in a way, but people don't want that. They want to feel what is happening in there. And even the financial support will increase, because people will not go, and the tourists will not go to that museum to see it or pay for travel to that country. So we need something to attract people and to attract tourists by it. And I think that we can use virtual museum only as a trailer for attracting the tourists.
Okay, Ayman, now you could speak.
I want to respond to this question. I think this will not be made by the government or anything. I think the people who had museums will create this. It will be, new markets. Let me give you an example. You see, when you used to want to see a movie, you want to go to the movies. But now it's online. You can watch a movie from home. And there are many apps that creates that, and they try to give you the best experience so that you go there and buy their app.